All right, today we're checking in with Phillip Cope of the band Kylesa from Georgia, and Phil was kind enough to check in with us today about his new album, Spiral Shadow. Excuse me. Phillip, welcome to the Sludge Factory. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it as well.
All right. Well, it seems like it's kind of been a busy year for you guys. Static Tensions feels like it just came out. It just came out in 2009. Highly acclaimed, great reviews, great reaction. A lot of people, including myself, have been listening to it nonstop for about a year. And then, we get another album from you just within the last month, Spiral Shadow. Talk about what prompted you to do two albums so quickly back to back together.
Well, there's several things. One, it's a little quicker for other people than us because we actually had written Static Tensions a good bit before it came out. We kind of sat on it for a little while before it was released. So, as far as writing goes, it really wasn't. It was almost 2 years for us. So we were just really, honestly, just ready to write again. We had been touring nonstop, and we just wanted to get off the road and start writing because we were kind of starting to, have a lot of ideas in our heads, especially just sitting in the van all day, every day,
Right.
just thinking about it. Oh man, I wish I was home so I could play guitar, and write new stuff. We just did. We just like, well, we're done touring. Let's write.
Did any of the songs from Spiral Shadow come out of the sessions from your previous album?
No.
So this is all completely new material.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't want to say that the albums should be listened together, but it was kind of cool that they came out when they did. Like I said, I was just kind of getting over Static Tensions, and then, boom, here's kind of like another follow-up, taking it to the next level, so to speak. Talk a little bit about the record. Where does the title Spiral Shadow come from, and what are some of the themes on the album?
Okay, the overall theme for the album is distance, and we just kind of took the different meanings of distance and applied them to different kind of ideas for each song. Spiral Shadow is actually just a working title for one of the songs, and it was really just, sometimes when we're putting together songs, if they sound like combined band stuff or something, we'll come up with a title, like for that it was like, one song kind of reminded Laura of Spiral Architect and mix of DJ Shadow, hence Spiral Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
But as we were going on, we were all trying to find a name for the album that would reflect distance, and it just wasn't coming. We couldn't find a good title we liked, and Spiral Shadow just kept sticking with me. I really liked the way it sounded, and I thought there was a lot of cool meaning you could put behind that, and Laura agreed as well. Mm-hmm. So we kind of started thinking more about meanings to put behind that title, and that's what we ended up with.
Very cool. And I know your last album, Static Tensions, had a lot to do with exactly that tension, relationship-wise. I mean, it seems like you guys really make a personal effort as far as the lyric writing goes. Talk a little bit about the process, because I know you and Laura write the majority of the lyrics. Is that correct?
Yeah, we write all the lyrics.
Are you guys, talk about that creative team. How do you guys build upon one another?
Well, we'll sit, when we get a song, close to being done, we'll approach each other with ideas for that song lyrically, and then just kind of both on our own, just write whatever we want to write. So we're very lucky that a lot of times it matches up pretty good, and sometimes we both write lyrics within the same song, and then sometimes, we write, one of us could write lyrics, all the lyrics for one song, just ourselves. It just really depends.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, I know you guys have been playing some live dates. I just happened to check you guys out about a month ago in Chicago at the Metro with High on Fire and Torch. Great show. I just got to say, first of all, High on Fire, that's kind of a special band, but you guys just about stole the show away from them. Incredible live performance. I had never seen you guys play live before. I had heard about the two drumming effect. At some points in the live set, you guys actually had four drummers going. Talk a little bit about that. The rhythmic elements of your music. Why is that so important to to your sound and to your live shows?
Well, for one, it's just a taste, like a tasting. Like when I was coming up and first starting to play music, I saw Crash Worship and I saw the Roses. I was listening to a lot of stuff like Test Department, and very early on, I was drawn to bands that had a very tribal drumming kind of like thing to what they were doing. And as time goes on, it seemed like people were getting away from that, and there weren't that many bands doing it. So it seemed like I wanted to do it, continue that on.
Sure.
And with the double drummers, I mean, honestly, when we started that was more of just wanting to be heavier when we started.
Because that wasn't something that you had done from the beginning of your of Kylesa, right? That was something that you introduced kind of midway through.
Yeah, we wanted to do it from the beginning, but when we were starting out, we were playing basements and small shows, and money was a huge issue, and just traveling with 2 drum sets was a huge issue.
Right.
So it really it took it. We tried from the beginning, and we just couldn't make it work. So we kind of had to wait till we got to a point where we could feasibly start pulling it off.
Right. Well, you're definitely pulling it off. Like I said, very exciting live show, very intense. It was a smaller crowd, but you had everybody there, bobbing their heads, and it was a really cool experience.
Right on.
Talk about the sound. You guys are famously part of that. We're hearing so much about the Savannah sludge southern metal sound now these days, and you guys are right in the middle of that. You've even been described as the godfather of the scene. Kind of an integral part with your producing. First of all, tell me, what is that sound? In your own words, what is that southern, Savannah metal sound that we're hearing about so much these days?
Well, as far as Savannah goes, it's just a group of friends. It wasn't. I don't think everybody really got together and was like, okay, let's start this sound. With my situation, just being one of the first people involved, I think it's just a lot of the earlier people that were starting out. Just when newer people got into it, we were supportive instead of being competitive. And it was like, that's like one of the things I did with my producing. And, it's just like, when somebody came to me and was like, oh, I like what you're doing, I've got this band, can you help us out? We would. But I'd also, as far as producing goes, I would try to encourage bands to put their own take on things.
Sure.
And I think that's kind of, not that I'm taking credit or anything, because obviously it's a lot of talented people involved, and a lot of people have put in a huge amount of work, but I think it's, people just digging heavy music and everybody just kind of putting their own take on it. It's kind of made it, turned it into something, as well as just everybody, there's a big work ethic, a lot of bands from Savannah, and I know other towns in Georgia, everybody works really hard.
Absolutely.
And I mean, really hard.
Yeah.
And I think that work ethic from band to band has been contagious.
Yeah, and it's definitely an exciting sound. There's so many great bands that are kind of linked to that scene that are kind of at the forefront of heavy metal today. What are some of the influences that go into that sound? I mean, obviously you hear you'd be stupid if you didn't hear the Sabbath influences or maybe even some of the Zeppelin influences. But what are some of the other influences that go in and really define what that community is all about?
Well, the very obvious one, like you said, is Sabbath, but it's also, early sludge stuff, from I Hate God, Buzzard, and, New Orleans, a lot of their sludge. That's a starting point. Then also, Neurosis. But each band kind of has their own influences. But I could speak, I can really only speak for Kylesa. And early influences were Sabbath, Pink Floyd, Neurosis, a lot of sludge stuff. And then we also liked, more stuff like Fugazi and stuff that was a little out of the heavy realm, as well. And, for Kylesa, we're all big music fans. Everyone in Kylesa is total, well, at least 3 of us are pretty big music nerds. And, we listen to tons of music, all kinds of music. And so there's constantly new influences coming in.
Yeah, that's That's really cool because that's what it's all about. And I'm right there with you as being a geek. So you're in good company here. Talk a little bit about your production. I mean, you are, some people might not know this, but you've produced some of the biggest bands to kind of come out of that southern scene. You've worked with Baroness, Withered, Dark Castle. Talk about your production sound. You know, you hear so many producers, they have their famous, Phil Spector with his wall of sound, his, Rick Rubin, his stripped down sound. Do you have a particular sound that you kind of try to incorporate to your recordings?
No, I've actually kind of taken the exact opposite approach, and that's probably why a lot of people don't even know that I've done all these records, is because I didn't want, to be this producer that has a sound. I was more interested in, helping a band get their sound, and approach every record completely different. Yeah. And I try to encourage bands I work with to come up with something that's special to them. And it's never really bothered me if people hear a record and know that I produced it. To me, I feel like it's a success if somebody hears a really good record and it's like, whoa, this sounds great. And then it's like, oh, okay, he did this, Somebody looks into it, that they don't hear it and go, oh, I know this sound. It's more interesting to me to create something new with each band.
Very cool, yeah. And you certainly give us a great mix and so many exciting bands. I just list off a few, and I think it's safe to say that they're all pretty great listens, great records, and it's something that I think a lot of people are excited about. So how does Kylesa stand apart from the other bands in that realm of sludge metal?
Well, I think we used sludge as a starting base, almost like a frame, but we've built our own house. You know what I mean? We've decorated it our own way, and it's very unique to us. We definitely, I think, will constantly find ways to keep ourselves interested and maybe try new things out. And sometimes it's risky, but it's always fun and interesting for us, and hopefully that translates to other people as well. Maybe people pick up on that and be excited as well. Hopefully.
Absolutely. I mean, I got to say, I've been just been getting started with this project. Been very involved with the social networking, and I've been kind of leaving little hints and previews as far as what's coming on my podcast. And we were scheduling something with you guys for a while, and I got so much response about your band in particular. So many people are excited about what you guys are doing, and they're looking forward to to what's next with you. Talk a little bit about, you hear so much about these, we mentioned a band like Baroness. You can also throw in a band like Mastodon in there, your band included. These bands are incorporating, those classic metal sounds that we all know and love, but they're also, certainly making, newer music that is probably reaching out to other types of audiences, not just the hardcore metal fans. You're probably seeing some of the pitchfork fans in there, for lack of a better term. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about your music reaching outside of the normal metal spectrum of fans?
Well, with Kylesa, we've always been outside, from day one. I mean, the metal scene didn't really start picking up on what we were doing after we were already a band for, almost 4 or 5 years, So, when we were starting out, there weren't even that many sludge bands to play with. So we really had to play with all kinds of different bands, and we liked it. We enjoyed it. We liked playing all kinds of different scenes. I mean, we played, with everybody from High on Fire to Darkest Hour to Pinback, just all different kinds of bands. There's a big difference between Pinback and High on Fire. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But because we've gotten to meet all these bands and play to all these different scenes, we've gotten to pick up on so many different things. And we enjoy it. We enjoy playing to different audiences and different types of people, and we enjoy hanging out with all kinds of different people. And I think we've just reflected that within our music. And we've always said that we're not judgmental. Anybody's welcome to like our band. We're stoked to have people around. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter to us what someone's
No, and
if they like our band and get something from it, that's great. We're stoked.
And I'm so excited when I hear, bands like yours and Mastodon and Baroness mentioned, with some of those other types of bands that aren't necessarily in the same type of genre. In the late '90s, early 2000s, we got this new kind of metal. Obviously, metal is more categorized than any other musical genre. We experienced a new metal scene, which obviously fizzled off after a while. Are these bands, your band included, is this kind of a new metal sound?
That's kind of hard to say, I think people will have different opinions on that, personally, like with Kylesa, we're not claiming to represent anything.
Right.
Necessarily, except ourselves. So, even though, a lot of people see us as part of the movement, we definitely, technically are, we've still always seen ourselves as an individual band doing our own thing. And another thing about that, too, is even though I guess you could say a lot of things that we're doing may be considered new, we're also very influenced and have a lot of respect for the music that's come before us, especially underground music. We're all pretty knowledgeable on it and big fans of lots of different stuff throughout the years. We constantly are going farther back, but at the same time, we're stoked about new music that's coming out, too. And I still, there's always like a pile of records I'm behind on checking out,
Yeah.
I think there's tons of good bands out there, and, not just from the Georgia area. I think there's bands from all over the world that are doing awesome things with music right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of speaking along those lines, you guys were involved in a compilation that came out earlier this year, the Metal Swim Project, with so many. Dark Angels on there, Torches on there. Just countless great bands, exciting bands making new music today. Some people might be a little surprised that type of a compilation came from a Cartoon Network, but they've actually been involved in a lot of other metal projects, and I think that was cool. What did you feel about that? That project, getting your name out there associated with those other types of bands?
Oh, we're stoked. We're really happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's a great mix. If anybody hasn't checked it out, I think it's available for a free download. And you guys have got one of your songs that's actually now on the new album, but definitely worth checking out for some of the other bands too.
Oh yeah, it's pretty rocking.
Listen, I know you don't have a ton of time, so I just want to wrap up. I thought it would be cool since we were going to do the interview separately. Wanted you to talk maybe a little bit about Laura. What does she bring to the band? How special is she to Kylesa?
Well, she's absolutely completely important. She's been the co-writer since day one. She brings a lot. Both of us have a little bit different styles on how we approach playing guitar and vocally as well. And she works really, really, really hard. And she works real hard and puts a lot of energy into it. I'm stoked that we've been able to make this band the last 10 years.
I couldn't agree with you more. One other question for you. We're going to be planning a feature show coming up in a couple months, where we're going to be doing kind of our Sludge Factory Legends edition, Hall of Fame, if you will. We're going to be talking about Crowbar. Can you spend just a few minutes talking about Crowbar? If you were a fan of them, what they meant to you, what your opinion of them is?
Well, let me think. First time I heard of Crowbar, actually, was because I saw them on Headbangers Ball.
Yep.
And,
the video for Subversion.
What's that?
I think it was the video for Subversion.
Yeah, it was kind of black and white.
Yep.
Yeah, that song blew me away. Yeah. At the time, I never heard anything quite like it. And, that will always be my major impression of Crowbar, is just seeing that and being like, whoa, this is so different and so cool.
Have you ever played any shows with Kurt and the guys?
We've played with Down.
Okay.
But never Crowbar. I'm very excited to see them. They're playing.
Yeah, we're actually gonna. We're actually gonna be doing a kind of like a little live podcast with them and giving them our cheesy little award, but it's gonna be fun. So definitely, we're collecting quotes from everybody about that band because I think they're cool.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, for sure. So what's next for Kylesa? I know you guys have some dates coming up. When can I see you again in the Midwest?
We're still trying to figure out what our schedule's going to be like for this year, but we'll be doing lots of shows, so we'll definitely make it out there sometime this upcoming year.
Okay, well, I will definitely look for that. So, just to kind of wrap things up, what type of person is Phillip Cope when he's not on stage with Kylesa? What do you like to do in your downtime?
I like to do all kind of things. Read, watch movies. I like to chill. I'm a very chill dude.
Well, like I said, you guys have been busy for a while, so I'm sure it's just nice to come back and hang out and relax for a while before your next endeavor. Certainly seems like you guys have been busy for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been nonstop, but I'm completely stoked and excited we've been able to do that.
Very cool. Well, listen, Phillip, like I said, the new album is great. The last two albums have been great, and I think Kylesa is one of those bands that people are really there's a big buzz around your band. People are getting really excited about what's coming next from you, and you guys are, kind of forming this new sound that I think is crossing over into some other genres and making people realize how special heavy metal music in general can be.
Right on, man. That means a lot.